Hi, it's Dr. O. I'm here in Singapore on one of the beaches in Sentosa. I'll just show you actually, look at the beautiful view here, and if you can see it. So I am addressing a subject on how to improve my confidence, question that comes in a lot, and this is part 2 of a 3-part video series. So I'm just going to relax here while I do the rest of this. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to speak quite loudly. So if you've watched part 1, you know we talk about the visualization of how you are right now, how you want to be, and the beliefs needed to bridge that gap. Let's talk about part 2. Part 2 is about modeling. So one of the things that I've helped people on a one-to-one basis, even on a group basis over the years, is building this confidence quickly and being able to grab your people's attention in any situation. But this is more general. We're talking about your confidence overall. So it could be confidence in a relationship. It could be confidence with your finances, with other people. It could be you trying to improve your presence in your workplace, improving your business, getting your message across to your customers. So there is obviously communications that are wrapped into this as well. So part 2 is about modeling other people that you believe are really confident in their nature. So normally when I'm doing this, I say to people, you've got to think of 3 elements: that the physical state that that person has, what they're saying to themselves, and also what they're focusing on. And I would like you, just for a moment while you're watching this, to think about someone that you know communicates really well and is confident in their nature, in how they get themselves across. So if your issue is to do with relationships, then look at people around you who are confident. It might be that you're watching this and you're single and you've not had a lot of confidence to approach people or to get back into a relationship over the years. So who around you do you see that you know is confident with other people from a relationship perspective? You could also look at actors, actresses, successful people, celebrities, people that you have a respect for, who have similar values to you, and who you feel have got a characteristic that you'd like to emulate. Equally, it might be that you go back to the first video, is you're wanting to improve your confidence in the way you get your message across in the workplace, whether it's with your boss, with your peers, in a presentation environment. So again, think about who in your workplace or in other workplaces or in other businesses or in business in general or on the YouTube channels that you watch, or possibly media, TV, movies. Who do you see who is great at communicating a message with confidence in that type of environment? And until you've got someone to model, I wouldn't go any further at this stage. And you can't really say to me, well, there's nobody, because you must have a frame of reference when you think about how you want to be. So if I said to you, how do you want to be in the workplace, communicating your message across you? I want to be like this, this, and this. All right, okay. And you say, well, a bit like so-and-so, or a bit like my friend Johnny, or a bit like that guy I met when I was at the conference. Okay, well, there you go. There's an example of somebody you could model. So modeling is about taking that person's characteristics and taking those characteristics inside yourself and then using them in that particular situation. So as an example, if you said to me, well, I want to be able to talk to my boss more confidently, or my peers at work more confidently, or in my business to my customers more confidently, and you want to get your product across, your service across, or just simply get you across and feel better about who you are when you communicate yourself, and who do you know that does that already? And then you're going to look at, let's just say, for example, it's somebody that you met at a conference a few years ago. You developed a bit of a friendship with them, but you always find they're really confident. When they arrive at any conference, they immediately connect with people, whether it's a seminar, conference, whatever. They have a natural way, without being in everybody's face, where they just seem to get the message over really naturally. They don't, my lovely lady, she says, people feel comfortable in their own skin. That's a great phrase. I like that phrase. So who do you know that's comfortable in their own skin when they're communicating a message across? Maybe you've watched one of my videos or one of my seminar clips and you've just gone, oh, I like the way Ro explained that. Well, then what did I do in that moment to explain that in such a way that you liked it? What was about what I did? So you can take several people, it's not just one person. And you're looking at 3 components. You're looking, first of all, what do they do with their body when they're communicating? I mean, I'm physically sitting down here. You may not realize that, but I am. But I might look like I'm standing. So if I turn that like that, look, I'm actually sitting down. But what I'm doing with my body language is I am using my chest, my shoulders, my face, my eyes, my intensity to communicate with you. So I'm allowing myself to let my hands and my words flow through my body. That way I can get impact. So look at what they do with their breathing. What do they do with their shoulders? What do they do with their head? What do they do with their eyes? How do they engage with people with their eyes? It's quite bright here, so my eyes are a little bit tighter here, but normally if it was a darker room, my eyes would be more open like this. So you've got to watch what they do. Their breathing patterns. How do they move? Do they stand still? Probably not. Somebody that's not a great communicator tends to shrug a little bit, look down. Breathing patterns are lower. Shoulders are sitting down there. So these are things that you can notice in yourself that you know are weak, and ask yourself the question, what gives that person a strong sense of physical presence? Their physiology, how does it feel? How does it feel to you watching them? Oh, they just seem to emulate that, practice it. So that's the first thing you're going to do, is walk around and communicate in front of a mirror. Imagine you're sat at the desk, if you're across a peer, trying to explain yourself, looking them in the eye, not looking down, not reflecting inwardly, but looking outwardly with that physiologist. First thing. Second thing is, what's their language pattern? What are they saying? What sort of words are they using? Start to look at people that are communicating with impact. Notice how they use their words. They don't do lots of ums, like I'm talking to you here. I don't feel an obligation in the space between words to go, I want to explain to you about my project that we're going to do as a team. So I don't need to do that. I can just simply say, so what I'd like to do this morning is talk to you about 3 things. I'm really excited as a team. I know we're really effective. I know that we can do great work. In fact, Johnny, what I love about you is you're very detailed in the way you do work. And Sarah, the fact that you communicate so well with the clients really helps me, because as a team leader. And so there you go. You're picking on certain things. What are they doing? What language are they using? What sentences are they using? What words do they use? Use empowering words rather than disempowering words. Don't mind about the space between sentences or words, because you know what? Sometimes a pause creates more impact. It gives the person a chance to actually listen to what you're saying. Even me doing that there, you have to think about it for a minute. Yeah, he's right. So don't worry. It's okay to have pauses. It's okay to be able to breathe, gather your thoughts together, think about your message, look down at your notes. You're not looking down because you don't feel confident. You're looking down because you're looking at your notes. You might even say, I've got 4 things I've written down here I want to cover with you guys. So as I go through this, I'm just going to check to make sure I'm not missing anything. So there's lots of words we can use. And think about and watch the most powerful communicators who are confident in their nature, and take some of the extracts of what they do and use that. So that's number 2. Third thing is, what are they focusing on? Now, somebody who's lacking confidence is focusing inwardly. They're looking at themselves and they're thinking about what they're not very good at. They're thinking about how poor they feel, how they feel small, big, overweight, underweight, too tall, too short. They might have all the voices from the past in their ears. You're never going to amount to anything, son. Or, you're never going to do this. Or, and all that negativity. Forget all that. Screw that. The past is the past. You know what? Smack it out. Who gives a shit? It's like, you know what? This is the past. You go into the meeting and you focus on the key messages you want to get across. What are those key messages? So don't think about anything else outside the room or that moment. Don't think about any distractions or what you've heard in the past or what they might have said in the past, how they might have reacted in the past. And if there's been a reaction in the past, bring that into your message if it's necessary and say, there's 3 things I want to cover today. And one of the things I want to start with is, in the past, we've had a few meetings and you haven't always reacted so well to what I've been saying. I fully appreciate that, but I want to address that first. Get it out of the way. Get the elephant out of the room and now focus on the key results. So your focus has to be on getting a result. That's me. And if you're emulating somebody, what do they focus on? What do great communicators focus on? What do people that get results focus on? If you're talking about couples in a great relationship, when they're together, what are they focusing on? Somebody that's not in a great relationship and they're very ego-driven, they're focusing on themselves, whereas a couple that are really connected and loving, they're focusing on each other. They want to see how they can make that other person feel even more amazing. 2 totally different situations. So, physiology, you're modeling them, so you're practicing it. The language, what do they say, what do they use, the sentence structure, and finally, what are they focusing on to get that most impactful communication, to make themselves feel confident about themselves and the situation without it being an ego-driven thing as well. Okay, so I think that's it. We're going to go on to video number 3 somewhere else whilst I'm here in Singapore, so watch out for the video. I shall see you soon. Go practice. Video 1, video 2, start emulating, start modeling. I shall see you on video 3. Dr. Rowe, signing out.